At the moment I'm publicizing my ongoing Doctor Who comic for Titan Editions, and I'm also pushing the third volume of Nikolai Dante, which has been reeditioned, and hopefully that'll be available in the next couple of months on Amazon and all the usual outlets. But that's the third volume's been out of print for a long time, so I'm very happy to get that back in.
So kind of tell us a bit about Nikolai Dante and I guess kind of your work on it and what impact you've seen that it's had.
Well, Nikolai Dante was started in the mid-90s with a guy called Robbie Morrison was the writer, and I was the artist who co-created this thing. It was at the time we thought that science fiction in 2000 AD specifically was getting very grim and gritty and very dark, and everyone was covered eyes. But Nikolai Dante was the exact opposite of that. He was young, he was carefree, he hit people, he had sex with lots of women, and he got drunk a lot. And we just thought, this is the kind of hero we want to read about. It's someone who reflected our own lives a bit more. And we planned initially there would be a 5-year story and we'd finish it. 15 years later, we eventually finished it. It's now 11 volumes. It's all been reeditioned by Rebellion and now through Simon Fraser in America, and it's been hugely successful. We won an Eagle Award. It's a large galaxy-spanning story of dynastic intrigue in the sort of Russian Empire of the far, far future, and it was huge fun to do, and it would be very, very nice if it would, if the American market could see it and read it. But frankly, it's great.
Is there anything else that you're working on that's uniquely yours right now?
Well, I run a webcomics collective called ActivateComics.com. That's a kind of web portal for lots of like independent, idiosyncratic comics, very personal stories. Most of the people on it are professional comics creators, but this is an opportunity for them to do their dream projects, the little things that they really want to do. So I do a story on there called Lily Mackenzie. I've done the first story of that, came out a couple of years ago. I finished that first 100 pages, and I'm working on the second 100 pages, which is Lily Mackenzie in the Mines of Paros, and that's ongoing at the moment. I'm writing it, and I've got the first 7 or 8 pages online already, and I'm working on the next 20 or so pages. First part of that already came out through Judge Dredd magazine a few years ago, and the next part hopefully will as well. And I'm going to collect it all and sell it as a nice little volume, sort of 3-volume set eventually.
Awesome. Anything else you want to just toss in?
No, I think that's it actually. That's pretty tight.
Do you notice a difference when you have comic book people going into web comics and then you have web comic people going into comic books?
Well, we started Activate Comics back in 2006, and back then webcomics were kind of brand new and nobody really knew what to do with them, and a lot of it was basically as a sort of safe haven for creators who were used to traditional comics, and try and give them a platform and hopefully get some kind of like knowledge base among ourselves of how to do this right. And we were looking at the time for like, where's the money coming from ultimately, and it didn't go quite the way everybody thought it went, and webcomics online for free is really the best you can hope for. And what happens is the creators can then put their projects out there. The projects effectively, they sell themselves. I mean, that's the thing. As creators, we don't really have time or expertise to market our projects. So as a result, the best thing we can do is actually make them. You put them up online, you build an audience, the audience responds and reacts to what you do, and as a result you end up creating something that has a dynamism and a public life of its own. And when you actually when you finish the project, when you actually take it to a publisher, you have something that's complete and it has a built-in audience. And that was always the plan with Activate, and that's what we've continued to do. So even though we don't take any money in the site, it's completely not for any money, no profit at all. It's a way for people to get their work done, seen, promoted, and then the next stage is taking to a conventional publisher. Because ultimately we all want to make books, and digital editions are great and webcomics are great, but people like buying books at the end of the day, and that's the thing we discovered about webcomics, is that people like to buy things. That's really where it's gone, kind of full circle.
As you said, you were working on a Who story?
I am working with Titan Editions on the new Doctor Who comic. So I work on Matt Smith on Doctor Who number 11, and we've got because it's quite closely woven in with the TV continuity, so effectively we're allowed to be canon, which is really nice. As a big Doctor Who fan myself, it's really exciting to be able to do that. And I'm working with a writer Scott Al Ewing, who's currently on Avengers book, I think, and Agents of Loki, Agent of Asgard, I think it's called. Al Ewing's a great writer, and Rob Williams, who's also a wonderful writer, has done a lot of Wolverine stuff through Marvel and so forth. So they're writing, they're British writers. We all grew up with Doctor Who, so it's a dream project in lots of ways.
Are you at all surprised by the way this Doctor Who sort of spread like wildfire in the US?
I know, it's crazy, because I grew up with it. I mean, since I was tiny, I remember Doctor Who, and it was always kind of a really geeky thing for little boys to really into. And now it's like, I'm lines and lines of women coming up to get my comic signed, and I'm like, what happened here? And I don't know. I really don't know. I think maybe the young, hot, cool doctors helped a bit. David Tennant and Matt Smith are both kind of like charismatic young guys, and that obviously changes the demographic a bit. I don't know how that's going to change things now that we've got a cranky old guy in the doctor position, but it's fascinating to see the scale of it now, and it's almost too big to stop. Even if they change tack and they have different ideas, they can now experiment, and the audience are loyal. So it's good.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.